Good morning from Mamablip. This is Sara Lai.
This is Filippo Bartolotta.
And like always, now that you are following us, you're subscribed to our channel, we're gonna be cooking dinner in 15 minutes. Dinner for everyone.
Dinner for everyone who eats pork in this
Today,
case.
anyone who eats pork. Today we're doing pork. There is lots of other recipes, lots of fish, lots of vegetarian
and vegan.
Lots of vegan recipes. Go check on our website. Today is about pork. It's about balsamic vinegar with our friend from Ca del Non. Phenomenal stuff we're going to talk about.
Sí.
Onions, butter, and
Aromatic
salt.
herbs.
A little bit of aromatic herbs, but easy.
Easy.
In the
Easy,
meanwhile, we'll see you in a few minutes, but I'm gonna a bit of anticipation on the wine. Today I decided to go for Marina Cvetic Montepulciano d'Abruzzo 2017, a symbol of Renaissance winemaking in Abruzzo. Stay with us. E azione! Action! Buongiorno! Welcome everybody to Dinner in 15, the place, the live show where we learn how to cook dinner in 15 minutes, how to pair fantastic wines. We'll learn about wines, but we couldn't do this without Sara Lai.
Ciao a tutti, guys.
Our chef that is already working because
Guys
15 minutes has
and
started. She's cleaning the pork. We said earlier on for our friends that we're already in the waiting room. Today is about pork. It's a pork fillet. You can see nice and clean with some onions, butter, salt, pepper, a little bit of herbs, and balsamic vinegar. This is a wonderful balsamic vinegar.
You forgot the most important thing, the fondo, the gravy that I have done before because it's not possible to make it in 15 minutes.
Okay, so this is dinner in 15 and it's a transparent go on, you gotta work. It's a transparent show. So basically, if we do stuff beforehand, we'll let you know. Dinner in 15 means that you're gonna be able to put a dinner together. Fondo cosa? Fondo what?
Yeah. I was about to explain.
Di cottura. We'll tell you all about it in a second. But I wanted to wrap up our presentation before we move on. I was saying balsamic vinegar. There is a 12 and 25 years age. You know that traditional balsamic vinegar from Modena can only come in 12 and 25 years. And in these kind of bottles that were designed by Pininfarina, the Ferrari designer. So this is the real thing. Do not trust the other stuff. I mean, you can trust, but it's not the traditional balsamic. So we'll tell more about balsamic. Sara, prima di andare al fondo, stiamo sulla ricetta di qua.
Yes, okay? We have to start to cook. I've just cleaned a little bit the pork fillet, but your butcher will do, of course, for you. I have cut half pork fillet because I am alone tonight to eat. Filippo has to go away. He will leave me alone. So I have cut 250 grams of pork fillet and onions,
okay.
which I will caramelize without sugar because onion don't need sugar because they are full of.
Let's do it. So,
butter.
One thing that I learned with Sara is that when you cook pork, you use butter. So that's the way it is. Why? Because otherwise it's going to become hard and tough. So the other thing about the onions, while Sara carries on doing the chopping and everything, onions, garlic, shallots, leeks, all this stuff has got lots of sugars. But the way to release the sugars, listen to me now, is to do it nice and slowly. The slower you cook them, the more sugar you get. All of a sudden, if you just get some leeks on the frying pan,
just cut them in half.
like that. You just put it there.
If they're
and after a
small
little
or
bit,
in four, sorry.
boom.
If they're
sweetness.
big.
So for like a half or in a
Or in
four.
cloves, like
Very nice.
this.
Oh, I love that pentolino. That's so cute.
See.
Ok, andiamo avanti.
A little bit of salt and cover it. And black pepper. And at the end, when the onion are sweating, we will add the balsamic vinegar, but right at the end. Balsamic vinegar doesn't have to cook.
No, you don't want
At all.
the balsamic vinegar to cook because there is so much flavors. And basically, it is like as if balsamic vinegar cooked already. You imagine that, guys, before I crack open the bottle of wine, now you got me started here. You imagine 25 years before something is ready. Like, who does that? This is like one of the craziest food products in the planet, on planet Earth. So what happens in 12 or 25 years? You have a batteries of 9 different barrels of different wood, juniper, cherry, whatever. Everyone has got his own recipe. And then the great cooked must is going to be going into these barrels, and then evaporation, and then acidification, and all of a sudden you have this incredible, look at this, guys, check it out. Guarda qua. This is, no, questo è 25? Sì.
No, yes, this is the extra vecchio. This is the extra vecchio.
Okay,
this is
give me-
the 25,
So
25th.
25 years, look at this, guys. It's just, you see, it's gonna be like a tear. It's gonna come out at all.
Sì.
It's so sticky. Look at this, da,
Ah,
da.
buonissimo.
Okay, each drop. And it's like sweet, but super acidic. Cherries, there is tobacco, there is chocolate. This is one of the most intense food products in the planet. I use it for my sore throat. I use it for my stomach ache. I use it with ice cream, vanilla ice cream, and
Vanilla ice cream, fresh strawberry, Greek yogurt,
whatever. Just,
panna cotta.
Oh my
You
God,
make
yeah.
a panna cotta, you put this one. Wow.
just go in the bathtub, have some ice cream, and a little bit of that. Done.
I was about to explain about the gravy that I have done. You will use the leftovers of the fillet. Ask to your butcher this kind of leftovers. You will roast it in the oven in a very high temperature, like 240 degrees. Take a baking tray with a parchment paper, put the leftovers of the pork, and chop 1 carrot, 2 sticks of celery, and 1 onion, and salt. Roast it for 20 minutes, and then put everything inside a pot with or water, like 2 cups of water, or if you have broth.
All right.
Boil gently for half an hour, and then you will have this reduction of pork and veggies.
240
Thank you,
degrees
Viviana.
is 464 Fahrenheit. So this is gravy. Earlier on, Sarah said about fondo di cottura. In English, that is gravy. And I asked her about that. Why? Because when you have pork fillet, it's actually quite
Ooh la la.
lean. It's white meat, okay? So I needed some extra structure because this wine is really powerful. Qui ci abbiamo un po' di casino stamani, facciamo così.
See? And then when, in the meanwhile, when the butter is becoming like a nutmeg, noisette, as we say, is ready to cook the pork fillet.
Molto bene. So while we're doing the pork, let's talk about Marina Cvetic Montepulciano d'Abruzzo. Look at the color, black ink color, like a prune style color, very dark. Montepulciano is a super ripe and thick grape variety. I know that Montepulciano d'Abruzzo can be found all over the world. There is lots of different styles. This one here, it is one of the most serious label that you can come across. As a matter of fact, we're talking about the 80s when Gianni Masciarelli started the business and together with Marina Cvetic, that's why in 97 they started off this line. And it's a bit of a symbol of renaissance of high quality winemaking in Abruzzo. On the nose, you have ripe black cherries, mulberries. There is some dark chocolate like in the balsamic vinegar. A little bit of a tar, smokiness, and forest floor. Man, very intense. But on the palate, all of a sudden you have a double situation. On one hand, you have the super smooth, round, ripe black fruit. On the other hand, you have structure, you have muscles, you have power. So I like what Sara is doing.
I have changed a little bit the process of the preparation because I decided at the end to put the onion right in the pan with the pork because they will suck all the butter and all the juices of the pork.
And that's good as well because now you see the herbs, you see the onion, so that is going to add up some structure to the dish. Come so quando le cipolle sono caramellate? There is a question. By the way, guys, if you have questions, write them down and we will answer. We have very few minutes, but we'll answer all of your questions. Thumbs up if you like it, what we're doing. About the onions.
About the onions, you will know when the onions will be caramelized, when they will look like this.
Okay, so brown. You know the brown is a sign in the kitchen.
Like a candy.
Like a candy. Molto bene. And if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be 5 minutes or so on one side. So you just keep it there. Don't move it because you want the meat to turn like that. Isn't that great? Yes. It is so great that every once in a while, I like to take pictures about what we're doing. We're live. Zach, that's so beautiful.
Now we have to reduct
the gravy
our
is
gravy.
Too liquid. Echo, about the gravy, do you ever add up like flour to make it more creamy or is it too 1980s?
A little bit. A little bit. I don't like to put the flour because it will opacize.
Okay.
Opacizzare. It will become like
too dark and
not transparent, not shiny.
Okay, perfect.
It will lose the shiny.
It was the 1980s were a little opaque, right?
Sì,
although we had like some great artists. It was like Boy George's birthday recently. You know?
Sì.
Yeah, fantastic. Do you really want to love me? Or this is a bit like pork fillet is a bit 1980s.
Sì.
No,
sì. It is, but it's a very quick meat to cook. So I've chosen this because it's very quick to cook.
I love pork. You know what Sara is doing right now? She's searing the meat off. When you cook, you want to sear the meat off so that you don't lose the juice. And when you're gonna get that pork fillet on your plate and you cut it, it can look a little bit pink, but don't worry about it. Right? Don't worry about it, vero?
Okay. No.
Being pink is not in the meat with pork is nothing to worry about because the temperature here is high enough.
Yes, it's true. And then now the bacteria of the pork is not as in the past. Now it's almost more safe.
Safer. It is safer, but also like when you cook with this kind of temperature, the heat is gonna get into the middle of the meat. Guardate che bellezza! So super brown, getting super brown. We have 2 minutes 30 to go.
Sì, sì.
She looks fine. Sara always looks nice and relaxed. In the meanwhile, let's go back to Abruzzo for a second, Luigi, because this wine deserves a little bit of an extra conversation. It's cultivated, it comes from different vineyards that are all around the 400 meters above the sea level. And yet, there is a lot of wind, a lot of cold that comes from the mountains, and all of a sudden, right there at the bottom, you have the sea. So iodine factor, a little bit of a seaweed umami in this wine that I love so much. By the way, if you want to go visit this winery, they have a wonderful resort where you eat amazingly, and it's a castle. It's a castle surrounded by vineyards. You can book.
I am cooking the pork fillet
With the butter.
with the butter,
Lo faccio andare questo ancora?
keeping the pork humid and
Moist and
moist.
Above all, like it's basically like boiling butter is cooking.
See? Esatto, we are almost done.
Okay, 1 minute to go.
Thank you very much. We can...
Okay.
Little...
The wine is opening up as well. It's open out like oxygen helps out. 15 minutes is releasing some Mediterranean herbs right now. I can't wait to try this pork.
Here we go.
Va bene, proviamo. Vediamo un po'. Guarda qua, zac.
It's a little bit undercooked, so I will...
That's what I was gonna say.
Choo, choo,
If you
choo.
guys are, everyone has got their own preferences about cooking. So if you're scared about the pink, just go a little bit extra on the, once you cut it though, not the whole thing, otherwise it's gonna become like a choco block. Even when you make bistecca alla fiorentina, the T-bone steak,
Sì.
stay raw, but if necessary, chop it, cut it like a tagliata, and then you put it back on the pan for a couple of minutes, maybe less, actually a few seconds.
Sì.
We're gonna be going a little bit extra. She made it in 15, just to be honest. Oh, look at the color.
And at the end, I've chosen the extra vecchio on our...
Allora, il balsamico, quello ti va pianino. The balsamic vinegar is an extra flavor that you can add up. We need to get another bottle of this one. Mariangela, we need more of this. Cadelnon are some of the greatest artisan for balsamic vinegar. Here at Mamablip, we've been purchasing this vinegar. We only have very few ingredients. We have great extra virgin olive oil, balsamic vinegar from Cadelnon, good Parmigiano, good Piave cheese,
Sì.
and tomatoes, and everything is organic.
Sì.
Andiamo, coltello, forchetta, ready to go.
Some crispy sage. Ooh la la.
Crispy sage. Okay, so I'm trying the pork with a little bit of onion together, just a tiny bite, like this. Okay. Tender. I love the batter. There is some smokiness.
Buonissimo.
That is working. I wonder what you want to do, because the pork is actually quite gentle and meat. You want to make sure that you do this. For the wine, I'm talking about the wine, of course, also because this boccone is going to be sweeter and better, but you want to get that. I'm actually trying the crispy sage because we'll add up an extra flavor there.
Okay. I want to try Cvetic.
Okay, allora, what you want to do is this idea of the crispy sage, you just done it right in the end.
Sì.
You know there is a solution, because the dish, despite the presence of the gravy, is still quite a light dish. Don't be taken it's quite a light dish. Like in terms of flavors, it's very, very delicate. The gravy adds up complexity, but the crispy sage,
I love crispy sage.
crispy sage makes the dish fly into another universe. And it goes really well with these wines. Sarah, this is fantastic.
Thank you.
Of course,
Thank you,
guys, thank you for being with us. We'll find many other recipes and great wines on our website, where you can also book private cooking events for you, your family, your friends. Keep following our social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and of course, cook
Like a Italiano?
like a true Italiano.
Like a true Italiano.
Grazie, grazie Marina for this wonderful wine. Grazie Sara for this great cooking.
Grazie a te.
Grazie. Thank you
Grazie.
guys for following us. Arrivederci.
Thank you. Ciao.